One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back. It's a new year and it's a new you, and the new you has made a resolution to like eat healthy and exercise, and you're like going to the gym. And look, here's the deal. You can't maintain that level of performance all the time. Every once in a while, you need a break and you need to go do something
Treat yourself.
fun and have something delicious to eat. And if you're going to do that, let me urge you to go visit our friends over at
Fire on the Mountain.
If you live in Denver or you live in Portland, it is the spot to get the best
Lucky
damn
you, Denver and Portland.
chicken wings and burgers and pizza and
Chicken
onion rings.
sandwiches.
Oh my
and
God. Mel hasn't
deep fried Oreos.
stopped asking
and
for that Nashville hot chicken
It's only
sandwich.
here for a limited time, so I want it before it gets out of
It
here.
looks bomb.
That's
and then,
at the Burnside location
and
here.
also a huge congratulations to them. The Burnside location just celebrated their 15th anniversary.
And I saw they got a 100% from the health department.
Heck yeah.
Nothing goes better with chicken than compliance.
Absolutely. And you know that the place that you ate from is clean. It got inspected. It got passed. And now you can take your little butt over and have a Nashville chicken sandwich.
And also, here's the thing, like, back in the day, they would be like, oh, deadheads, they're just a bunch of stoners and they just make grilled cheese in the lot. Not so. We own restaurants now, like Fire on the Mountain. And we're getting 100% from the health department. And we're making bomb-ass chicken wings.
Mm-hmm.
And we're making Nashville hot chicken. And if you don't live in Denver or Portland, you can go to portlandwings.com and you can order a bunch of their sauces on their website. And they also have really, really cool hoodies and hats and all kinds of swag up there for you to get.
Y'all know we love the merch.
That's right. So go check it out on Instagram at FOTMPDX or FOTM Denver, and online at portlandwings.com. And make sure to tell them that No Simple Road sent you when you go in there. And then when you're done eating and you're all full, you can thank us in your mind. I bought you a present, Mel.
What'd you buy me?
I bought you My Love is Bigger Than a Cadillac hoodie from Shop Tour Bus. I did. They didn't have a
She's been wanting
small,
that.
and I put an alert on my phone or online for them to tell me when the smalls were back in stock. And the other day I was at work and it came up and I was like, I'm buying that for Mel. So you have a hoodie on the way from Shop Tour Bus.
Yay!
You see the way Mel's feeling right now? You could make yourself or somebody else feel just like that by going to shoptourbus.com. And what you're going to find there is Grateful Dead inspired t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and other fun Grateful Dead stuff.
They even have totes now.
Totes my goats.
Yeah.
They're big too, right? They're not like little baby totes.
No, that looks like it's got a ball and it's got
Jumbo
all kinds.
tote.
Yeah, it's a jumbo tote.
For like going to the beach with your towels and your balls and all that stuff. These are Grateful Dead song titles told in picture in their designs, and so you're gonna have to know about the Grateful Dead or not. They're just cool designs.
Take your jumbo tote to the beach with your extra t-shirt, your Shop Tour Bus t-shirt that you're gonna wear, the dry one, after you get all wet at the beach
Or to the festival.
Yep.
So it's not just the shirt or the hoodie or whatever that you ordered that's amazing. They come in these all over printed boxes with one of the Shop Tour Bus designs on them. And then inside the box is like all these dope trinkets and extras that you just got to order it to find out what you're going to get. It's a cornucopia.
Yeah,
It's a
all
treat.
kinds of
It's a little
tchotchkes,
treat.
doodads,
Hoo-has.
yeah, little snacks.
Whatnots.
Yep.
And some of you are going to get a Grateful Dead
Bootleg.
in your order. I mean it. A real cassette tape that's been traded through the Grateful Dead family that ended up cosmically transported magically by the USPS right
It is.
to your home.
I have a stack. It's like a piece of history in your hand to pop into your cassette deck and listen to whenever you want. They
Yeah.
make me very happy.
And you can go get a cassette deck at the thrift store for like $6 or whatever.
Or you just get an old car like I have.
Yep. So when you're checking out at Shop Tour Bus, put in the promo code No Simple Road,
No Simple Road.
all one word, and you are going to get free shipping from the family over at Shop Tour Bus. Go check them out, shoptourbus.com or at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongSummerCamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongSummerCamp.com/simple. Check it out. Maurice Tani. What about him?
I love them.
You love him. Apple loves him. I love him. You guys are going to love him too. Hey, No Simple Road family. What's going on, everybody? This is Aaron.
This is Mel.
And this is Apple.
Wait, back up.
What?
This is Aaron.
And this is Mel.
No, you didn't sing. You usually, this is Mel.
I change
Well,
it
it's
up
not-
all the
yeah, it's
time.
not
I
always-
I
don't.
was waiting for it.
I don't always do the same thing, babe.
Okay. Well, this is us.
We're mixing it up. Yeah, this is us.
Yeah, we're No Simple Road.
We're back for another installment of No Simple Road. And hey, everybody, this week our guest on the show is the one, the only
Maurice Tani.
So, okay. Every once in a while,
you get shown the light.
In the strangest of places, if you look at it right. That is not what I was going to say. Every once in a while, what's happening more often now than it used to is we are getting guest suggestions from our friend Dennis McNally.
Yes.
And Dennis sent us Maurice. Maurice is part of a record label that Dennis is working with called Little Village, and we have a nice conversation about that. You are going to hear all about it in this conversation we're going to have with Maurice here in a minute. But Dennis was like, hey, would you guys be interested in having Maurice on the show? And we had never heard of him before and didn't know what we were going to get when we got on the Zoom call with him.
Which we never do know, but still, this is like...
Well,
like
I mean, if you have backstory with the guest that's coming on, like when we had Eggy on or Billy Strings or Billy Failing, like you have an idea because you've seen them perform and, you know, you kind of know them from Instagram maybe, or you have an idea of who the person is. But with Maurice, it was like, we're trusting Dennis on this one and we're going for it. And boy, oh boy, did Dennis not disappoint, and Maurice knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Well, this is one of my really favorite conversations we've had. I mean, I love all of our conversations, but this one was so special. Like, he's so thoughtful. There's so many little wise things that he said without really meaning to, just being straight up. And the album is so fun. It goes all over in genre, and we talk a little bit about the top 40 thing.
Yeah.
This conversation
that we had about art too was really like illuminating, and to hear his perspective on what he thinks art is and what it means and what it does for people. That's, you know, it's cool.
And I love the name of the album. Sorry, Apple.
No,
just the All In, because that's really kind of like what I got from the conversation is like he throws himself in, and it's like also all in, like all different types of things in here.
And this conversation was all in. This is one of those conversations, like they just said, we didn't know quite a lot about him, but we walked away from this learning a lot and thinking a lot and looking at a few things differently.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This was one of those learning ones. It felt like kind of like we went to school for an hour with Maurice. Yeah. And it was this is amazing conversation that we have. A lot of topics.
And you guys just go check out the album. It's Maurice Tani's All In, and it's on the Little Village label. And what Little Village is doing for independent artists is supremely cool.
One of the things that I wrote, because I have my little notes with this one, and one of the things I wrote was, through diversity, we create empathy. That was really one of my favorite things that he said. And listen, don't jump in before you have something to say. And that's what he was talking about, I believe, with music.
Musically.
Yes. Yeah. And that really like spoke to me too. So it's a lot of pearls of wisdom in this conversation. I hope y'all.
That's also a good lesson for life.
Yeah.
Not just feel like don't jump in until you have something to say. We could all learn from that.
Well, and one more. I'll throw one more in. Tell the artists you like their music anytime you are inspired by their craft.
Oh yeah. Oh, and this is the conversation we had about T-shirts and merch.
Yeah, I have that on here too.
But I don't want to blow it.
No,
I don't want to blow it. And also, we talked a little bit about the 10 Commandments of the Jam with Derek Truss.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you went and looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We
covered a lot of ground.
We also talked about one of our favorite harmonica players who joins him on the first track on this. Nick Clark joins him. You'll hear him on the harp there, having a good time.
So yeah, and I'm really excited for all of you to hear this, and we're going to do the business, and we have some business to take care of this week extra that I need to talk to you all about. So if you listened to the 300th episode last week with the Garcia birthday band, and you went and you paid attention while I was talking in the business section, you heard us announce that we have a new producer on the show.
That's right.
We have Corey. He's helping us do some stuff on the back end with No Simple Road. Well, he has been feverishly working in the background, and he's done a bunch of stuff this week that like has been needing to be done for a really long time, and he's on top of it, man. And so I wanted to let y'all know that our Discord server is back up for patrons. If you sign up on Patreon for $5 or more, you have access to our Discord server, and that's a place where you can share photos and stories, and it's a private chat room for the No Simple Road family. And that is something that we had a while back and we kind of fell off of, and he's handling that now. So go over there, hang out with each other, get to know each other. I think it would be really cool. Like, there's like different sections in there, and you could put we can put like a roll call section, and you could say like, I'm Apple, I'm from Portland, or I'm Gary, I'm from Tuscaloosa, right? Right?
Yeah.
And then if you're going to a show in a town where you don't live, you can go to the roll call section on Discord on the No Simple Road family and see where people, if there's people that are living, and meet up with them.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's really cool. And he's also taken over the back end of the Patreon thing, and he is revamping our Patreon for all of our supporters.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Yes, Corey.
And so if you are a Patreon supporter now, you will see that there's been some buzzing of the hive, so to speak. Some things are going on. We're going to be doing live hangouts with you guys. We're going to be doing Q&As. There's all kinds of stuff that's going to be happening.
He hit me up yesterday. We were going back and forth because I love doing my weed reviews, but you can't do it on any of the social media platforms anymore because you can get your account shut down for talking about cannabis. So he asked me if I'd start doing weed reviews to
put on
that
Patreon.
He can put on Patreon, and then I can do what I want and talk about cannabis and all the good things there.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so we're also starting another thing on Patreon where it's called Side Roads, and it's going to be a once a month interview with somebody, with one of the three of us, and Corey,
Aaron, Apple, or myself, and Corey.
And a local Grateful Dead cover band, or an artist from somewhere, or something. Yeah. We don't know exactly who's coming on yet, but that's coming to our Patreon as well. So here's the deal. If you are an existing Patreon subscriber, thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
amazing.
you.
If you're not, now's the time to go and sign up.
If you're not, thank you in advance.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's time. Now's time. If you've been on the fence, now's the time to, if you've been consuming our product all this time, it's time to give a little something back, and we're going to keep giving to you through all this new stuff that's happening.
Get off the fence. It's uncomfortable being on the fence for a while.
You could get a hole in your pants or your skirt.
Rash, something.
Awful. Depends what the fence is made out of. It's metal or wood. It could be
it's
plastic.
Barbed wire.
Yeah,
get off that thing.
Anyway, you get the idea. Patreon.com/No Simple Road. There is all kinds of movement in the No Simple Road universe. So that's really cool. Follow us on all the social. Sorry, that's wrong. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at No Simple Road. You can go to www.nosimpleroad.com. You can sign up for our newsletter there. You can get a tarot reading by Mel and I with the Grateful Dead Tarot deck.
Got our merch.
Something else that Corey had us do was put bios up on the No Simple Road site. So if you go to nosimpleroad.com and you click about, you can read all about the three of us and our background and who we are and why we do this and all
our
that
cool
fun
pictures.
Stuff. There's really good.
Apple's got the coolest picture on there.
I do.
By far.
I was wearing that pimp coat.
For the record, I didn't get to pick my own picture or what I said.
Well, we can fix that.
I wanna.
Okay. Mel's gonna. You better go there now and see the one I picked, and then go there later and see the one that she picked. And you
Aaron's
tell us
is
which one you
good.
like
Aaron's
better.
is totally fine. It's just not mine.
Well, it is you. Well, let's be real.
It is. I like that picture. That's like the Lila. You're like,
I do like it because I'm repping our awesome sponsor, Shop Tour Bus. So
yeah,
thank
you're wearing
you.
that modified tee.
That's right.
Anyhow, you get the idea. There's lots of stuff happening. NoSimpleRoad.com. Blah 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 blah. Right.
Yeah.
So we already talked about Patreon and you signing up on Patreon and you helping us financially so that we can continue doing what we do. And if you consume the show, then you should probably give a little something back. And that's just the way the world works. And we really appreciate it. And we love you. But if you don't want to do that and do the financial thing and make the commitment and take us to the dance, it's cool. You could just do something that doesn't cost any money
Yeah.
and give us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
And I think we finally got a review for January.
We're getting to the end
Our
of the month.
first one of the year.
Yep, we got one for January. So here we go. This is Jeffrey's JFK DMV. This came in on Monday. This crew rocks with a nice heart, 5 stars. I got into the jams about a year ago, and my life has been changed. Went to over 30 shows in 2022.
Oh, yeah.
And it has brought me experiences and people I never could have imagined.
Aw.
With all the love and joy from the jams, I've been struggling with finding balance in my day-to-day life. I am 20 years old, moved to Colorado from New Hampshire last year for school, dropped out of school, and I am just trying to find my way. I struggle greatly with my mental health and found this podcast around the new year. Every episode I turn on makes me want to cry. It is as though the universe knew exactly what I needed to hear and channeled that message through some of my favorite musicians and your podcast.
Holy shit.
This road is so far from simple, and your discussions have helped me stay grounded and keep working on myself the past weeks. I look forward to being a seasoned listener and meeting you all one day. Ben from Gunnison, Colorado.
Damn, Ben.
Ben, I had a hard time. I almost started tearing up
Ben,
reading it.
I didn't expect to hear that from you, Ben. That's
Thank you, brother.
thank
Wow.
you.
That makes up for...
I mean, if this can help you with your mental health on any 1% even, I'm so grateful because I know how hard that is to struggle with any kind of whatever it is, whatever type of mental health it is. It's freaking hard sometimes. And if our conversations can shed a little light in some dark times, I'm so honored and grateful, and I don't take that lightly.
Yeah, that's...
And I don't think any of us
not
take
at
that
all.
lightly.
We're all
Thank you
kinda
for
teary-eyed.
saying that.
I'm you got me a little speechless, Ben. That was really fucking cool. And
Beautifully written.
that came also, man, reciprocal. That came at a time that we really needed to hear something like that.
Yep.
And welcome to the jam community
And welcome to
No
the-
Simple
yeah,
Road
No Simple
family.
Road.
yeah, man. Hey, Ben, do me a favor, man. When you hear this, shoot me an email at nosimpleroad@gmail.com. Tell me it's you, and just a little note, and send me your address and your t-shirt size. Okay? Do that. I would appreciate it when you hear this. Yeah. Anyway, wow, that was really beautiful. That
What a great way to go
derailed my
into-
head.
Yeah,
for a second.
yeah. We needed that, man. Thank you, brother.
Okay, on to other stuff. If you want to call in to the No Simple Road Tepid line, you can call 971-808-1524. And we have a call this week.
What? We got a call too?
You know what I'm going to do? I want to read just
The
No.
silly transcript.
It's not as funny as you guys think it is anymore.
It's pretty funny. Okay. Mel says no. Mom said no.
No,
Everybody,
you know what? Now you got to
never
do it
mind.
because
Nope,
everybody's going
I'm
to
not doing it.
wonder
I'm
and
gonna
they're going to
start
be like,
the-
is
I'm gonna
Mel
start it.
right?
Here we
No,
go.
she's probably wrong.
All right.
Making Aaron feel all subconscious about it.
Eli
So.
called in. Here we go. Hang on.
What up, No Simple Road family? This is your beloved Cincinnati correspondent, Eli Paul, with a question. It is a three-parter. Anyone that knows me knows that I am a wing nut and a ranch slut. I love to eat hot wings and smother them in ranch. I might as well have an IV of ranch at any given wing night. So my question to you is, bone-in or boneless? And then what is your favorite kind of sauce to have? And then ranch or blue cheese? So for me personally, I like a big, fat, crispy bone-in wing with a nice mango habanero that isn't too spicy, just because habanero has so much flavor. And then like I said, I'm a ranch slut, so ranch all day. And then bonus question, if you chose blue cheese, what is wrong with you? I know some people will take offense to that, but whatever. Or if you're not a fan of wings, what is your favorite bar or fried food? Would love to hear your take on all of that. I love you guys so much. Also, Aaron, I still owe you a glitched out hey now.
Yeah.
I'll get that to you as soon as I can. Love you guys so much. Hope everything is doing well, and can't wait to hear your answer. Bye.
Eli, that is proper use of the No Simple Road tepid line.
Yes, it is.
971-808-1524.
Perfect example.
All right, Mel.
I am offended, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mel,
Okay.
you first. We'll go in order this way.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was very impressed by all the detail that you displayed, the mango habanero and being a ranch slut and all that. I might be a little controversial here because I kind of like my hot wing plain. I like to eat it like that.
Wait, bone in or boneless?
I prefer boneless, but I will definitely do bone in, and those little tiny crispy ones are the ones that I like.
With
The
no
little-
sauce?
I don't. Okay, so this is my ranch story. I don't do dairy, right? So, and I never really loved ranch, and I don't like blue cheese either. So usually it's either barbecue sauce or plain. Wow. Every now and then I will take a dip of ranch, but
You are an alien.
yeah, even vegan ranch, I don't care for it. And it's not like, look, I'm sorry. I just don't like these white sauces very much.
Yeah, I know.
And,
You-
and,
That's
and
fair.
honestly, how often do you guys ever see me with ranch?
Never.
Never. You're not a ranch slut. No.
I'm the opposite. I
You're-
think I want to say that I'm a ranch slut. That sounds fun. but
What does a ranch slut do for work? Oh, wait. Never mind. That was a silly
Well,
But
it
question.
anyway.
depends on how you look at it.
well,
You go
anyway,
to a ranch.
whatever.
Okay.
Sluts don't have to work in the slutty field.
That's true.
It's true.
You can just be
So
slutty.
yeah.
All right. So first of all, I have an aversion to any meat that has a bone in it. I cannot eat chicken wings. I cannot eat ribs. I cannot eat a turkey leg
Or a steak with a bone.
or
in
a
it.
steak with a bone. I can't eat pork that's like a chop. I don't, whatever. I have something broken in my head that will not allow my body to do that. Even if there's a basket of chicken wings in front of me, if I touch the bone of the chicken wing, the meal's over.
I know. It weirds you
I'm
out.
done. So, boneless for me, which would be a chicken finger. So it's not a chicken wing. It's a chicken finger at that point. And I don't know why they call them fingers. Anyway.
Yeah, can you imagine chicken finger? It'd be so tiny.
It'd be a little tiny thing with a nail on it. And then look, you want to know what's wrong with me? I grew up in the 80s and the 70s, dude. Blue cheese is awesome. I love blue cheese on a really, really like not medium, but like medium plus sauce, buffalo sauce on a chicken finger
Yeah, I like buffalo sauce.
with ranch mixed with blue cheese. What up? What you gonna say? Huh? What's happening?
Ooh,
Your turn, Apple.
drop it. Oh, well, mine's pretty easy. I'm going to get into the blue cheese thing too, just so you know. I was joking about being offended because I totally understand why people don't like blue cheese. It's an acquired taste. It's a funky penicillin aged cheese. I was so happy when we moved up here to Oregon because Rogue Creamery is up here in Oregon. They have won worldwide competitions for their blue cheese. But I love just kind of a simple, I like bone in, extra crispy with mild buffalo sauce with blue cheese. And I like the chunky blue cheese where you get a nice chunk of the cheese like on the wing with it. But then also beyond that, I've also learned sometimes you don't need any dipping sauces, like going to Fire on the Mountain.
Oh yeah,
chicken
that's
wings.
what I'm telling you.
Their Jamaican jerk one, like you don't want to put anything on some of their sauces because it would just ruin it.
Yep.
You don't need it. They do dry rubs and different things. So, but my favorite is the mild bone in, extra crispy with lots of blue cheese.
Eli, I'm gonna blow your mind.
Well,
right now.
let me say this. My alternative is BBQ sauce.
Okay, that's fair. But Eli, check this out. There's a ice cream store here in Portland, Oregon, and in California. It's called Salt and Straw, and Salt and Straw has a signature. One of their signature flavored ice creams is pear and blue cheese ice cream. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute, and then imagine in your mind hole what that tastes like.
And it has chunks of pear and chunks of blue cheese in it.
In the ice cream.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It is good. It's so good.
But same thing, acquired taste. You know, you got to like that funky foot cheese.
Anyway, that is proper use.
Yes. Thanks
of
for that
the No
question,
Simple Road
Eli.
Tepid line. Any question, call in. We'll answer it. I mean, within reason. Okay.
I remember one last. I remember when we lived in Vegas, there was a bar called the Suburban Lounge.
Yeah.
Remember they used to make, but they made a wine blue cheese. Remember it was purple?
No.
It was a blue cheese that they mixed like a house wine with.
Sometimes
I want to recreate that.
you remember things, dude, that
You're the same way before
I
you finish.
swear that like you made that shit up.
I didn't make that up.
They had a coffee.
It was right there in Spring Mountain
hamburger.
and Jones. We used to go there and pick stuff up. They'd bring it to the door because it was a bar and we weren't old enough to go in the bar, but we'd order food and they'd bring it to the door.
Jesus, man, I have whole sections of my life that are just missing, like empty spots on a map that nobody's ever gone and looked at. Wow. All right. Anyway, that is 971-808-1524 and how you use it.
Yeah.
Please feel free. Lines
And
are open.
we love you too, Eli.
Yeah, we love you, Eli.
man.
Thank you
Hopefully
so much.
We could meet up somewhere this year.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
You're always giving us fun
By the
suggestions.
way, you're our Cincinnati correspondent. I don't know if you're an NFL fan, but I'm making a prediction. It's going to be the Eagles and Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. And good luck.
Okay. Anyway, sports ball. Go local sports team. Let's get them to the interview with Maurice Tani. And
Let's do that.
Like we said, go check out the album. Maurice Tani's All In. And also go check out Little Village. They are the record label that Maurice is on.
Some amazing artists.
Yep. So, ready, guys?
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Maurice Tani.
Well, intellectually, I know why you walked out that door. It made sense to me. You couldn't do it anymore. And that part of me has come to terms with the score. And emotionally, that was a tough road to hoe. It tore me up inside, but I had to learn to let go. And that part of me knows you reap what you sow. But there's another part of me that's got a mind of its own that really should have faded, but instead it has grown. You came to your senses, I came to mine too, but there's another part of me that's still crazy about you. Realistically, we never really stood a chance. The heart and mind agree. We knew the plot in advance. And our tale would be a star-crossed romance. But there's another part of me that's got a mind of its own that really should have faded, but instead it has grown. You came to your senses, I came to mine too, but there's another part of me that's still crazy about you. Crazy about you. I have demuted myself.
You
There you are.
demuted.
All right.
Yay.
How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. I've, I was going to complain about the weather, but as cold as it is here, you're in Portland, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you win.
Where are you?
I'm in Berkeley.
Oh, okay. Beautiful Berkeley.
Does it actually get cold in Berkeley?
By our standards, it's let's see. Right now, the temperature is 48 degrees.
Okay, that's
Not
cold.
bad.
Yeah,
That's
that
cold.
is cold.
You know, that's reasonably cold. I mean, it's not.
We had ice this morning.
Yeah.
So that was our reality.
Yeah, a friend of mine was just saying he woke up this morning and the outside of it, he lives up in the North Bay, and he says outside of his window there's a thermometer and it said 32 degrees, and I said, dude, in Europe they call that zero. Thankful for what you have. It's
Maurice, I'm Aaron. It's a pleasure
Aaron.
to meet you, man.
All right. And my name is Mel. Maurice, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Let's see. I think. Let me just. Am I loud enough?
You are
Yeah,
perfect.
You sound great.
You sound great, actually.
Okay, great.
And
I've done these a lot of times with, with earbuds and little microphones, or worse, with the microphone in the monitor.
Oh, yeah.
And I've just decided that I would. I'll pull out the old condenser mic here for this.
Sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
especially if you've
Great.
got it.
I'm the third member here. I'm Apple.
You are Apple.
He
Okay,
is.
very good.
Yes.
Responsible for all of our computers and cell phones.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah.
Well, maybe you can help me with mine.
Yeah,
I'm the worst IT person ever.
it's true. It is true. Maurice, welcome to No Simple Road. And I have to say that we have been enjoying All In around the house and in the car, actually.
Excellent. Dennis McNally, speaks very highly of you guys,
Aw.
and I thought I'd pass along his best wishes.
Oh,
for the
thank
holidays.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, we
well,
appreciate it. Dennis is amazing. We met him in 2019 at Skull and Roses, and he has been in our corner and a champion of us ever since. He's just
And us
he's
of
so
him.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, him
Well,
and- and Susanna.
anybody involved with all those years with the Dead. I first worked with him about 2001 or 2003 or so.
Oh, wow.
On a record that a friend of mine, a journalist, turned me on to Dennis, and he was very helpful, and he's always he's a great guy. He's done so much for this record. I'm very happy to have him on my side.
We were also very pleased to know on the first track, Nick Clark that joined you.
Yeah.
We had Nick on the show a while ago, and
great!
He's so amazing. We were so glad to see
he's
with
the
you.
sweetest guy,
Yes.
and he's so talented.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Nick Clark fan.
Same here.
Same here. Absolutely.
Well, Maurice, I wanted to say one thing before we got started. We were rereading this, and if I can just read it, and I want you to speak to it, because it really is something that we all we just appreciate it. And let me just read it here. It says, in the larger scheme of things, musical genre is a false construct, helpful for describing the location of a particular moment in the vast continuum of music. But there are no real hard borders. Mm-hmm. Everything good can and should bleed a little or a lot into the roux that is the fluid world of music. Do you remember that at all?
I said that, and I believe it. Really, I think that was really speaking to a couple of things. First of all, it was the label that Nick and I are both work with. Little Village is a very unique record label. It's a non-profit record label that among other things, there's plenty of unique things about it. For example, the artists own all of the rights to
that's crazy.
to the material. The label has never made a dime
off of any CD that or anything that's ever been pressed. The label doesn't make any money. It's all supported through donor. It's donor support.
That's so cool.
But beyond that, I mean, that's very special stuff. But kind of the mission statement of the label is the concept that through diversity we build empathy.
Whoa.
And it's tough to hate people that you actually know and understand.
That's for sure.
Most of this most people that people don't like, in terms of a group of people. I mean, there's always an asshole that you can point to. But if you're gonna hate on a group of people, you probably don't know many of them. And one of the concepts with Little Village is that it's bringing music from diverse groups to other groups. Now that works. It works for the label to bring music to the public that they aren't necessarily familiar with. I mean, for example, the label has there's a lot of blues and there's a lot of R&B and stuff, but there is mariachi music and there's classical stuff and there's all kinds of music that is brought to the attention of the public, because the public is kind of used to Little Village bringing out new stuff. So there's a chance that they might get turned on to that. Now, that's great. Where the second part of that statement becomes relevant for me is that this record, the idea, I thought it would be really cool to, I'll back up one step.
Yeah.
Working with the label, I meet all these artists, diverse artists from all walks of life, and they might be, an 80-year-old blues musician. It might be an Indian harmonica player. It might be an opera singer. It might be mariachis. I get to know them, and when you get to know them, you develop empathy, you develop a friendship, you develop interest in what they do. And I'm kind of a sponge. I find something I like, and I look for ways that I can incorporate it into what I like. Anything that I like, because I don't have anybody driving me to tell me what I should be playing.
Right.
So when a perfect example of this on the record is all that stuff with the Sons of the Soul Revivers. Those guys, they're a straight up black gospel church group.
Right.
They sing traditional quartet singing. And we were doing one of these Little Village reviews at the Freight and Salvage here in Berkeley a few years ago, right before the pandemic. And we were backstage, and they were teasing me about one of my lyrics, and which, it really, if you're going to compliment a songwriter, quote their own lyrics.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
This tells them that you heard something. And they were teasing me about a song that I had. And I thought, well, that was really charming. And then they said, you ought to write us a song. Oh, and it's like, what in the world? That is so far out of my box. That's so far out of my envelope. I mean, I'm raised by Jews. I'm more of an atheist, or closer to a Buddhist than anything like that. And I thought, well, what could I possibly do? I mean, number one, these guys can sing me under the table, and anyway. I thought that's very nice. Thank you very much. I sat on it for about 6 months. And then I came up with this idea for a song. I wrote the song, and I sent it to them, and they loved it.
Oh, man.
They came to the previous album I put out on Little Village was just before the pandemic, and it was a live record done at Freight and Salvage. And they came to the sound check. We didn't rehearse it. They came to the sound check, and they said, we learned the song. Oh, no. And so we tried it in the sound check, and they just bowled me over with it. And so we did it at the show, and it came out so good I had to put it on the live record.
It had to go.
That was the
It had to
second
go on.
time we'd ever played the song.
Whoa.
I
So
think
this song is it's the closing song on All In. It's How Deep Is the Water in Your Well. We thought I want a chance to kind of get it a little bit more ironed out. So we brought it into the studio, and the version on the All In is vastly different. But once again, I told James Morgan, you go ahead and sing those middle verses. And once he did that, I had to go back through and re-sing my verses because he kicked my ass. And so basically, by associating with these other artists, it forces me to lift my game. It forces, and it allows me to utilize that spice, those other sounds, to that flavor, what I called in that quote, the roux,
right,
of what I'm making here. And so that quote that you've got there, that is really goes to the heart of both the label and what this album is about.
Wow.
It's about bringing in these diverse influences and letting them kind of simmer and letting them color the record. They're still my songs. I'm still singing them. It's got to do with the process of the way I think that art should be, or the way I like to create art.
Well, in doing that, in changing the way the process is done, and also giving you exposure to different elements than you normally would have, drastically alters the end result of what you're doing into something that I'm sure I would imagine that it's vastly different than what you had envisioned originally once you add these other elements in, correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And what's more, I tend to, let's just say, revel in this. I was producing my own records for years before I started working with Little Village. And working with Little Village, I've had Jim Pugh and Kid Anderson either co-producing or basically leading this stuff. And I learned relatively early on that when I bring someone in to my studio to lay in a track, it's generally for the reason that, especially in those times when I was doing everything through multi-tracking, I was bringing in people who could do whatever it is I was asking them to do better than I could. If they were a guitar player, they were a better guitar player than I was. If they were, or they played an instrument I don't play,
like
or they can
ringers.
sing a different range. Now, when you bring in someone to participate in your art, you have, I see it as two basic choices. One, I can tell them what I would like them to do. And in that case, we have two outcomes. One is they will do what I ask them to do. Two is they don't get it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The other road is I don't tell them anything. I tell them as little as possible. And I rely on the intuition of people that I think are more qualified to be doing this than I consider myself. The outcome from that, there's two basic outcomes that can come from there. One is that they don't get it, and I have to revert to telling them what I was hoping to get in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
The other outcome is magic.
Mm-hmm.
Magic will happen. I will get something I wasn't even expecting, something that was better than what I had imagined. And that's what I'm going for when I bring in other people to work on this thing. And my process with Little Village has been, and from the very first record I did with them, I brought in the sketchiest charts. I brought in the sketchiest demo. If I had actually recorded the song myself, my computer is talking to me here. It's telling me I'm talking to you. My process with them was I would bring in the sketchiest demo. If I had already recorded the song, I wouldn't play it for them. I gave them as little input as I possibly could on these songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would stand in the vocal booth and I would let these guys who I trust implicitly treat this like their own record.
Wow.
And it takes a lot of restraint and a lot of trust to keep your mouth shut. Let them do what they do. Kid Anderson and Jim Pugh are two of the greatest musicians I know. And I would stand there and listen to them cut pieces, change things around, change the feel. And every one of their decisions was right.
Wow.
And that tells me that I'm a genius.
Yes.
I think
Well
one of
played.
the metrics that I use to
That's great.
rate my own self-worth is the level of people willing to associate and work with me. And working with Little Village makes me feel very good about myself.
Aw.
Maurice,
Wow, that's amazing.
You know, that whole thing that you just said can be applied to life and a lot of different things, owning a business, playing music, a lot of things. And that is the trick, I think, at least in my experience. And that's the hardest part, that part of keeping your mouth shut and letting people that are more qualified do what they do best without you poking the bear.
I think a lot of the things that I've learned through music are things that apply in general to life, a lot of life's general lessons. And I think a perfect example of this, I don't know if you've read them, but it might be 5-10 years ago. A guy did an article with Derek Trucks, the guitarist Derek Trucks, and it was on the rules of the jam.
Okay.
How to participate in a jam. And the rules were, I'm not going to recite them all, but they basically revolved around listen. Don't jump in before you've got something to say. You can look these up. It's brilliant stuff because it's so simple and it really applies to just life in general, I think. And these are the same things that I apply here to working with Little Village. And I don't know, if you've got that album there, the list of people on that record.
I do have it here. It's incredible.
They're just astonishing. And, a guitar player like Chris Kane, who is, what I say about Chris Kane is he has been touched by the divine. When he starts, when you meet the guy, he's a little awkward, but when he begins to play there, and as an atheist talking here, the voice of God is coming through what he plays. And I'm so delighted that he was into the material and wanted to do it. The same with, we got Jerry Jamot. Jerry Jamot was played on all those 70s Atlantic things. He played with Aretha. He was the bass player on The Revolution Will Not Be Televised.
Wow.
Wow.
The guy is, and he's the sweetest, most giving kind of player. I've just found that as I've gotten older, that the people that are still playing are better people now than a lot of the people that I dealt with when I was younger. And I might have been kind of a jerk when I was younger as well. But as we've gotten older, I think we've kind of mellowed.
I was just going to say, we tend to mellow as we get older in some ways, I think. In general,
and the people that don't mellow aren't going to last in this, aren't going to still be doing this at this point.
No,
so we get older, I think we learn what's important, and we learn how important time is, and we learn how to pick your battles,
and how important other people are.
Yeah,
and how important kindness is,
yes.
and generosity, and letting other people, have the limelight.
Yeah,
it's, I think so. That is kind of not so much a lesson, but it's the kind of the theme behind this record. This kind of collaboration with all these other people that are on the label. Almost everybody listed on that CD there is either a Little Village artist or one of the many people that work out of Greaseland doing so many of the Little Village albums, and they are all tremendously talented and also very kind, very generous people. I kind of come from an Americana singer-songwriter background, and in the back of my head, I thought when I started working at Greaseland and working with these people who are, most of them are just tremendous blues players, and there's a big blues scene. I was nervous about it, and I was astonished at how open and generous and accepting they were of me. And it turns out that they are more than just their reputations. They are human beings with broad taste. Jerry Jamot is just like that. I didn't give him any of the songs on the record that were really R&B oriented. He's playing on songs that are either they're more pop oriented or what else did he play on? He played on he was into everything. You throw music at that guy and he goes for it, and he plays he doesn't come off like he's Jerry Jamot, and God knows he could. Right. But he's just a consummate musician who can play anything, and he did.
Well, I think that having a label that's nonprofit, first of all, in the music business, that's like an oxymoron. Nonprofit record label doesn't make sense, but now we have it in Little Village, and in having that, I think that the whole energy around the people involved in the thing and the reasons why people associate themselves with that are changed from traditional record labels. So it stands to reason that the music that's going to come out of it is going to have a different life to it than something else that's a for-profit record label. It just
seems like more free, more creatively.
Well, yeah, the whole idea of like music as a commodity, as like a product to sell. I think, look, every musician has to eat. I understand 100% that you should get paid for your art. But when the sole reason for creating that art is to make a paycheck, that is a different thing than what you've done here or what Little Village is doing. The intention behind it is completely different.
Absolutely. I think the mainstream music industry isn't really set up to have musicians make money. Mm-mm. It's and the way it's, I've been saying this for years. If you want to make money in music, find a way to get musicians to pay you. That's the basic business plan for much of the music industry. And then at the top level, the major labels are there to kind of drive this more this industry. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been just recently, but there's unless you're a top level act, and maybe there are, I don't know, 30, 40 of them in the world that can go out and make money touring off of and I don't know who's making money off of actual physical copies, but Taylor Swift is doing great, and I say great for her. But I'm the mid-level acts that tour. If you're on a major label and you're a mid-level act and you're touring, you're not making much money out of the ticket sales. No, you're not making much money because it's expensive to tour. You're probably making the majority of your money off of merchandise.
Maurice, we talk to a lot of musicians that are at the level you're talking about, that are like in their late 20s to mid to early 30s that are grinding, that are out there on the road. And for us, I think we all had this misconception prior to starting this podcast 5.5 years ago that like musicians all had money and they were, rolling in dough and doing great.
They're living some great life where they're getting put up in these luxurious hotels and,
but we have
these got these fancy clothes and all this stuff because you just don't have any idea what it really takes from the background.
But we have quickly found out that these guys are sleeping on floors a lot of the time and eating in gas stations, and they'll do a tour to break even. Just to get the name out.
And they're, that's the sad thing is that the record company and major record companies will take a piece of your publishing. They'll take a piece of, you've got to recoup all the money they put into the record to begin with.
Right.
And like I said, you're probably making your money off of merchandise.
Yep.
And that is a very strange thing to me.
You're a band that sells
basically
t-shirts.
you're in the hat and t-shirt.
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And you're using money, you're using music to promote your t-shirts and hats.
Wow.
Because you've got a logo and you put it on your t-shirt and your hat, and you're selling those hats, and people buy them because they like the logo
Maurice
on your hat. Gene Simmons from Kiss years ago, he said, "We're not a band, we're a brand."
Oh yeah.
And that's
Kiss
what
really
the
was a
merchandise side of it is about. And it's sad that the art, in order to make a living, doing your art, that's. But honestly, this whole music business is in such a state of flux.
Yeah.
Especially at this point.
Yeah.
After COVID.
With streaming and then the last 3 years have just been this shit show with the. Can I say that?
Oh,
You
yeah.
can say shit show all you want. It's been a shit show.
It's been a shit show with not being able to play. I mean, where I sell the most CDs, and certainly the most satisfying place for me to sell CDs is at shows,
Right.
where I can actually meet people, and talk to them, sign the CDs. But hey, we spent a couple of years with no shows at all, and this past year I've been doing just outdoor shows, and now it's winter.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much shut down until spring comes around again. And so, how do you make money? I'm not making money. I already canceled took everything off of Spotify, but I do a little bit of, sales through streaming or whatever. But the music business is in total disarray as far as I'm concerned. But, I'm doing this as art, and
Right.
I'm just going to continue doing it because that's what I do.
Maurice, how long have you been in the industry? Like, is this your life?
Well, been in it in various forms since I was a teenager.
Oh, wow.
When I was in college, I was a art and photography major, but I started playing in like kind of commercial, what at the time were called top 40 bands.
Okay.
And I started working in. A friend of mine called me up and said he was down in Central Texas, and I went down to the Austin, Dallas area, and I worked in Central Texas for a while, and that was working. The first few months were 7 nights a week, 5 sets a night. And you played these various clubs down there, and that's where I started. And I learned pretty much to play just about anything, and they were all covers. And that was a great experience for a guy who was about 20, and because I had to learn to play soul music, country music,
that's what I was gonna
rock
ask.
music,
Yeah.
Everything. Some jazz. So that was a good experience, and I did that. Kind of as my my modus operandi was I would do that for about 6 months, and then I'd save up the money, at that time, poverty was much more fashionable than it is now. I would save up all the money I could, and then I would work, not play in a band like that for 6 months and just do art music. It was a lot of, electronic stuff, synthesizers and, experimental music. And then when I ran out of money, I'd get another job in another house band someplace. I moved to New York City and play in a similar situation, show bands, top 40 bands, commercial, what was called general business, union gigs, and you'd go up and down the East Coast and play in, hotels, Holiday Inns, or clubs in Jersey.
Right.
That was covered. I do that for 6 months or so. Take 6 months off, go back to playing art music again. And then in about 1977, I started working in the punk new wave scene, and I worked with a guy named Roy Loney, who was the lead singer of a band called the Flamin' Groovies.
Oh yeah,
at the time, yeah, he had left the Groovies. The Groovies were really different from San Francisco bands at the time. The San Francisco bands of the 60s were this kind of, hippie psychedelic thing. I know that with some of those ones, what's that band? The Grateful
Dead, I think.
Whatever. They've, kind of psychedelic stuff. Well, the Groovies were this hard rock band that was more like the MC5 or, really aggressive, seminal proto-punk kind of thing. Well, anyway, I started working with Roy. Had left the Groovies a couple years before that and was getting back into it again, and I worked with him to about 1982, and it was doing more kind of experimental new wave stuff. And then from the mid 80s until 1999, I fell into a large, like 14-piece dance band that played primarily corporate dates. It was we play these huge parties for 2,000 people in nice resorts. The travel was super lightweight. We'd fly to a resort, play the show, fly back home.
Okay,
it wasn't any of this driving around the country, and that really. That was very good for me, but it wasn't. It was like like being in a show band, kind of more Las Vegas-y kind of show business sort of thing. And so my writing fell off, and it was busy enough that I couldn't maintain a side project. And by the end of that 15 years or whatever it was, I felt, while that had been a very good experience for me, I had been able to, I've got a 1,000 square foot home in Berkeley here that I managed to pay off doing that, which I think is, really for most musicians to be able to say, I bought my house playing music, that's a very high
that is a high
thing on
praise.
the list.
You definitely deserve that.
By the time I was done with it, I felt like I was using a lot more craft than I was art. I was playing guitar for a living, singing, but there wasn't much art involved with it. So at the end of 1999, I left my day job, a music job, and went back to essentially playing music for fun, back to writing and back to doing original stuff. So the last 22 years, I have been plying the waters of the great Americana scene.
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
So what is it after all of that traveling, and you've played in all kinds of bands and all genres, and You've pretty much seen it. Why land on Americana? What landed you there?
Well, Americana and country in particular are what attracts me about that is I like the linear narrative of some country music. And it's not true of every country song or every Americana song, but I like the storytelling. I like the I like the style of writing where well, here's an example. A song like George Jones's "He Stopped Loving Her Today," classic country song. When you play that song, you probably you may already know the title. He stopped loving her today, and you can make an assumption about what that song is about. And he starts out talking about this fellow who was saddened by his the loss of his wife. She's gone. He's not there, and he saved all the letters. And they talk about, well, every verse gives you a little more detail in the song, but when you get to the end of the song, it turns out he stopped loving her today because he died, not because she moved away or whatever. But there's a story there. I like storytelling, and I think that not all of my songs are that type of thing, but I like to apply that kind of cinematic element to my writing. And so that country and Americana are two of the places where you can, folk music as well, but folk music is it's got its own set of issues with it. But I think that those styles of music are more welcoming to that kind of writing than, say, most rock or other R&B or whatever. I like the storytelling.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. The storytelling aspect of Americana is actually one of the things that early on drew me into liking the Grateful Dead. And their the whole Bakersfield sound scene that was going on at the time of like Working Man's Dead and those songs.
Robert Hunter stuff. Honestly, that's the stuff that really gets me going the most out of all that material. I've covered a number of those things, and I do a bunch of these Jerry tributes down here. We do them on around his birthday in August. And
days between,
and I've had a chance to cover a number of Hunter Garcia songs. Yeah, I think it's tremendous writing. I don't think that material gets really the credit that should be due to it from a songwriting standpoint. The Dead are such a iconic cultural item in America that some of these that the songwriting I think is actually kind of not overlooked, but it doesn't get the credit that it really deserves.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the ancillary pieces of the Grateful Dead overshadow the fantastic crafted songs, like them getting labeled as a drug band, or the acid tests, or Garcia, or the characters in the band. All that stuff kind of overshadows the fact that what Robert Hunter did, to me, defines American music of the time, Americana, of that period of time in a lot of ways. And I think that his songwriting, the style that he wrote in, is in a lot of ways transcendent. Because
absolutely, it's of that same time period that with Robbie Robertson or Bernie Taupin. I mean, there's some great lyrics there that they have created a world.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's I can only imagine that as a musician and also as a songwriter, that would be the hope of every time you write a song, when you put it out, that the listener feels like that, right? I mean, isn't that kind of the goal?
You know, when you first asked me this question, I thought you were going to ask me what is, after all this time and after all this stuff, what keeps you doing this?
Yeah, well, that too.
But, you know, and I was and as you were winding up, I was thinking, you know, what and to bring it to this the hope that you know, each time you write a song that, you know, you're going to give people this experience. I think that the most in that time when I was you know, making enough money to be able to buy my house, there were nights, there weren't, you know, a tremendous number of them, but there were nights when I made just an absurd amount of money for one night's worth of work. And I don't remember that money. I know it came in a check and I put it in the bank, and I probably paid some bill with it, or I donated it to some progressive political cause, or but I don't remember that. The money, I don't remember. I'll tell you what I do remember, though. I remember nearly everything that anyone has ever said to me after a set. They come up to me and they say that they were touched by some lyric, they were affected by some part of a song, they were moved in some way. Every one of those things, those stick with me. They are that is the heroin that keeps me banging my head against this brick wall.
That's why you're still doing it.
I will just keep doing it primarily for that. That is, like I said, the money. Yeah, money's great. I'll take it, but
that's not the reward.
But that kind of feedback, that kind of interchange between creator and consumer is the thing that is, I think, the most important part of and the most addictive part of doing this kind of work.
Wow.
That we understand that, because that's how I mean, we're a podcast. Podcasts aren't making a lot of money. We're not making a lot
You're
of
not?
money. No. But
wait a minute.
Can you believe it?
When I do, though, I'll let you know.
But our greatest reward is the community we've built and our family and stuff. So like now when we go to shows, we know so many people, and just to get to dance with them and get compliments, that's you can't buy that. You know, that's a reward.
No, you had to work for that. You had to earn that.
Yeah, and it feels so good. Better than you handing me $1,000 and make me feel.
You want to hand me $1,000? You can.
Oh, yeah, like you said, exactly. I'll take the money, but man, the reward is what makes your soul and all that feel good, and makes you want to keep doing it.
What we're doing, we're getting to talk to you, and all of these wonderful stories and songs that you've written and experiences and the people that you've worked with at Little Village and beyond that, we get to like capture this moment in your time and your history, and we get to share that, and these little pearls of wisdom that you have, kind of like the lyrics that you're saying, people get to hear that and have that. Like, I've got 2 journals full of things that people, that's why hope you don't mind that I'm writing while we're talking, but yeah, it's just something that I do because there's certain little pearls of wisdom that come out of our conversations that may just get looked over, but I'll think about them for weeks on end. And like, gosh, what Maurice said, you know, through diversity, we create empathy for, like, that's huge to me. Like, and it changes me. It changes how I think about things. And it, like, the fact that you're creating your art and what you're doing and how you're doing it, it really does make a difference. And I just want to thank you for sharing it, because I'm grateful for your sharing, not even your art per se, but for you sharing.
Well, you know, I think of this of art as being this kind of continuum, and I think that art is essentially Well, let me just preface this. You can create art in a vacuum and just make it for yourself and show it to no one. Yes, that is art, and you are both the creator and consumer in that situation. But it doesn't give you the benefit of the kind of feedback that we are all talking about here.
Right.
Yeah.
But art, for most of us, is this conversation that happens between the creator and the consumer. When I'm on stage, I am playing to an audience, and there was a time when I played a lot of electric stuff, and it was loud, and you could sort of see people out there, and they would dance and do whatever. But about 10 years ago, I started doing this really soft acoustic stuff and playing in concert halls where it was dead quiet, and the audience is seated, and they are focused on what is going on. And there is this power in a group experience where I can play, and I do a lot of playing around with time and space with it, where I might get to a spot in a song, and I will break for a second and just let the room ring. And as the sound dies, I can see the faces of generally about 10 rows, however many the rows there are, but I can see about 10 rows worth of people, and I can see their faces, and I can see the expressions. And if you're in the right spot and it's quiet enough, I can hear them breathe.
Wow.
I can gauge their reaction. And this is this interchange. This is this conversation we're having, where I might be the one on stage, but they are feeding back to me. We are conversing. And that is, and in the larger sense where you're creating art, it goes out into the world, and you put out a CD and you get reviews, or you play in a room and people come up to you later and tell you how it was. That's powerful stuff. The element that I haven't mentioned in this continuum is that in between the creator and the consumer are the curators. The curators are the people that find this music and bring it when I can't be out there. I can't be there to address everyone that is listening to your show, on a week-to-week basis. You are the curators.
Yeah.
You are finding art that is that you find worthy, and you are bringing it to your audience. Dennis McNally, the publicist, the Grateful Dead publicist that I'm working with, has I've done probably 24 interviews at this point, with radio and Zoom calls and journalists, and generally I'm not getting on to the Ed Sullivan show. Is Ed Sullivan still
Why
on?
not?
Where I am going is generally college radio, community radio, public radio,
Right.
podcast. This stuff is closer to the ground.
Yeah.
And much more personal, and this is mainstream radio isn't going there. These mainstream radio stations are owned by large corporations that are programmed from I don't know, Nashville or LA or New York or wherever, and they all sound the same.
Yep.
And they're all generally programmed by one person or whatever. They've gone are the days of commercial DJs that
that's over.
do their own programming. This stuff, what you're doing, what college radio, community radio is doing, is more important than ever.
Aww.
This is super important because of the way the music is structured at the moment. Is that you can find anything you want out there on the internet, and that's nice. It's nice to be able to, you want to hear Bruce Springsteen from 1986 through 1989, only mid-tempo.
Done.
You can probably find a satellite station that plays just that.
Right.
But this begs the question, how do you find music that you don't know you're looking for?
Yes.
How do you get surprised? When I grew up, I was we listened to a radio format that was called Top 40. And Top 40 radio was, for those of your listeners too young to remember this, Top 40 radio was a something for everybody kind of format.
Right.
You would hear Motown, and then you'd hear some rock and roll, and then you'd hear a comedy track, and then you'd hear some calypso music, and then you'd hear the singing nun, and then you'd hear it was just one thing after another. And I was probably 10, 12 before I found out that those are different genres of music. I thought they were just different songs. I didn't realize that they were all different. And that was a type of built-in diversity that we had, that, one of the things that, that helped the civil rights movement a lot was the notion when Black music was no longer considered race records, and Motown comes along, and there's all these white kids dancing to it. That changed the landscape of American culture probably as surely as anything that was ever done in a march, because all those white kids dancing, marching in those marches were like, why aren't these people equal? We dance to their music.
Yeah,
we get to know each other that way. This is diversity creating empathy.
It goes back to what you were saying about the shared communal experience between the creator and the consumer. What I wanted to say about that is that in that experience, you have transcended language. You've brought music that is universally understood. I don't have to know how to play music to appreciate it and to be a part of that experience. And to me, the experience of the moment when I connect with the music that's coming from the stage and that circuit is engaged with them is a deeper experience than most of the conversations I've had in my life. Right.
And it's an emotional experience.
And so those people that were dancing to Motown were affected in their soul, not just in their head, but inside, in a visceral way that shakes up who we are and changes how you think without ever saying a word. And to me, that's the magic of music. And that's the beauty of it, is that you don't have to say a word. You can play and something magical can happen. And, I want to go back to something that we, at the very beginning, you said there was the 10 commandments, the commandments of the jam, and Derek Trucks. And it's funny that you mentioned him. Just yesterday morning, it was like 4:30 in the morning. I was out on my front porch having coffee. And I was looking at
what was the temperature at 4:30 in the morning?
It was like 33 degrees or something. It was freezing. And this video comes on Instagram, and it's Derek Trucks at 13 years old. He's 13 in this video, and he is just shredding with this slide, doing this Layla solo. And I just blew my mind that at 13 years old, he was that conversant in his instrument. And I was just thinking, like, this kid's a prodigy, 1,000%. But I looked up the commandments, and they are: just listen, respect everyone else's musical space, make sure you're telling a story, try to play an emotion, which, Jesus, never use the bandstand to practice, treat the stage as your church, make sure your intentions are right, always make the band sound better, educate with your music and make sure you mean what you're doing. And man, those are commandments for life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, transcending vocal anything or words, or that's life.
Yeah, just keep your mouth shut unless you got something to say.
Well, on the keeping your mouth shut, I recall, since we've been doing this, like Aaron said, 5.5 years, we've gone to countless shows, and there's one show that we did not go to as our podcast. It was Aaron and I, and we went to, it was here locally in Portland. It's called Artichoke Music, and it is a listening room. It is not.
I want to play that place. I haven't
it?
been up there since before the pandemic. I'm looking forward to making another run up the coast. But I've heard about this place.
You have.
I want to do this.
So I had just started taking flamenco classes, and my teacher was
dancing or guitar.
Dancing, and
whoa.
Yeah, well. I broke my toe, and it was very short-lived, but she was part of this band called Flamenco Pacifico. And we went there to see this, and I had never been to a listening room. I didn't know what it meant. And then of course they tell you the rules. Everybody is here to watch and listen. No applause, no woohooing, no nothing. And at first it seemed a little awkward. But Maurice, when they first came on, and because you cannot say anything, and it's enforced to be quiet, you can, like you said, you can hear the breathing, you can hear just the natural sounds of people in a room together, and it wasn't even like not even a halfway in, and I was in tears.
Weeping.
Tears because of the passion you can feel that you miss when there's so much happening. You're hearing people laughing with their drinks and, yesterday I picked up my son and I'm glad I got to come here tonight and blah, 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 blah. So you're getting a little distracted of why you're there at that concert or why you came to see this person, because there's so much going on around you. But when you're forced to focus on what you paid for and why.
Focus is the word.
Yes. It changed it changed me forever, that whole entire performance. I could not believe, first of all, flamenco is some of my favorite music ever. But secondly, to see the percussive and the dance and the whole entire thing, it gave me something like what you were talking about when you were talking about seeing the first 10 rows. I was with you there. I felt that because I understand what that means after going to that and experiencing something and then experiencing the latter. You know what I mean? Like the big concert and the fun. And I love that. Who loves dance and the hoopla and the show. But there's something so special about connecting with the one artist or the band that's up there and the performers, and there's nothing like it. And
that's not to say that that there isn't something to be said. That's not to say there isn't something to be said for people use music for all kinds of purposes.
Oh yeah.
There is music that people simply jump up and down to. There's music that people scream along with. There's music that people listen to or don't listen to in elevators. There's music, there's music in the dentist's office that is there to calm you.
Yeah,
there is music, for every purpose, and it's just great when this type of listening environment is just one that is really suited for this type of, I'm going to call it intimate communication between the audience and the performers, or the creators and the consumers. And I think
I'd love to see you at Artichoke Music sometime. Yeah. That would be incredible.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to coming back up there. I like I do often a house concert series up there, and between Portland and Seattle, and that's that could the house concerts that have really, the house concerts are kind of a new phenomenon in the last 20 years that really have, in a world where we have, these large ticketing agencies that have made such a mess of mainstream music, and the notion of how we have music presented to us, the house concert is the kind of the ultimate, most defined, refined way of presenting music in that kind of listening room fashion. I mean, by the way, you come to see me, I'm perfectly fine if you want to make all the noise you want in between.
Well, hey, let me just say, I am at Fish concerts. I'm at all kinds of different concerts with costumes and running around and drum circles. I love, like you said, there's music for everything, for healing. I love my gong. I play my gong, and that takes me away. And there's so many different avenues with music, but again, each one for a specific reason. And when you go there to literally focus on the music and pay attention. Experience. Yeah, it just is. It takes you somewhere very unique and special and intimate, like you said.
Yeah,
it allows you to reflect.
So, Maurice, first of all, I appreciate you hanging out with us. This has been super fun, man. And being a part of Little Village, I think, like I said earlier, it does absolutely change the product that comes out of that. And having people like you and the others that are on this label, everyone that we've met is an impresario in their own right. And just thank you, man. Thank you for what you've done and for putting it out there for us. And
for a super fun CD.
Yeah.
When I put it, the first time I put it on and like drove to work, I was like, wait, but this song and this, like, everything was so different. Like Halo around, like that. And then the first song, Another Part of Me, like that doesn't even seem like it should be in the same CD, but it is. And it works, and it's gorgeous and rich. And yeah, like Aaron said, thank you for your craft.
Yeah.
Thank you
for your art.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, if folks want to purchase it or find out more, where do they go?
Well, I think you can probably go to, the regular kind of outlets like, I mean, kind of assuming that people are, getting downloads, that sort of thing, through, iTunes or, I don't know, Amazon or whatever, or they can go to my website and I will actually sell you, the actual physical CD. You've got one there.
I sure do. That's right, Maurice. That's right. Okay, what is it? MauriceTani.com or?
It's got that sexy centerfold, and you can buy them from me. But I will just say that I think the best way to buy CDs is to go to an artist concert.
Yes.
And buy it from them right there. Yep. Let them sign it for you, and you have a little experience meeting them, and getting a little closer to the source of the stuff, and they have a chance to get a little bit of feedback from you. Anytime you hear art that you're touched by, please go and tell the person who creates that stuff that you heard it. That it got through to you. There was something that you liked. Let them know. It's there's a Venn diagram I see on the internet once in a while. It's two circles, right? And they overlap.
Right.
And one circle is absolute narcissism, and the other circle is crushing self-doubt. And where they overlap, that's art.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's, all this stuff comes from this place of, here's this vision. This is what I want to say. And there's this other little voice in your head that says, oh, you think you're so special. Why should anybody be listening to you? You are fake. Tonight is the night they're going to find out what a fraud you are.
Yeah.
And right in the middle there, that's where the art happens.
That's you taking the
If
stage.
you get too carried away with yourself, the art isn't gonna it isn't gonna, they're not gonna meet, or if you're just too self-critical and you'll never get to that spot with enough confidence in order to make that art. But the art is where all that comes together. And when you go talk to somebody who creates art and tell them that they were affected by it, that you were affected by it, that enables them to be able to hold down that voice in the back of their head that is telling them that they are not worthy, and it boosts that voice that says, I've got this thing that I really want to say.
It reminds me of that movie, The 300, and they're holding back this like invasion of the Persian army or whatever, the Spartans, the 300. It reminds me of that, like you going up to the artist and saying, "Hey man, thank you so much for playing that music for me tonight. Like it really touched me, or I've been going through something and your song got me through it." That is getting them to be able to hold the line inside, to be able to create more art just for one more day to hold the line,
As I said before, that is that is the drug that allows me to keep banging my head against this brick wall. It's
well put, Maurice. Man. Really well put. What an elevating conversation this has been.
Absolutely. And
I thank you guys for having me. This is most of the time, I go through a little bit of chat, and then they play a track, and then we kind of go here or there. And we haven't played a single song.
No, I usually do is like before we play the conversation that we had with whomever, we do like a little intro. We do our business for the show, and then we'll say like, "And now, without further ado, is Maurice Tani," and I'll play a song. And then out of the song, go into the interview so that the people that are listening to the show understand who it is that we're talking to. They have a taste of the music prior, so they all understand who it is. So yeah.
Well, if you, as Mel was saying, there's a lot of different kinds of stuff on this record, and what really holds all this together is the production of the team at Greaseland, primarily Kid Anderson and Jim Pugh. Like she said, there's a bunch of different kinds of songs on here, and if there's one song on this album that is currently my favorite, and the one that feels the best to me,
lay it on.
I'm going to say it's track 5, Faith.
Okay.
Faith is this is a song of hope. It's an up tune. It's got the Sons of the Soul Revivers on it, and it's got Chris Kane just playing some amazing guitar on the thing. But it's the song is kind of about the notion how our faith in human nature, our faith in the news media, our faith in the healthcare system, our faith in the people who are trying to do their best is being challenged at every every turn. There's but there is reason to have faith, and I think faith is an important thing. I don't mean faith in anything too spiritual, but I mean faith in just general good human nature. That is the right thing.
At the center of humanity
yourself.
It's something good that we can all hope for. And I think you're absolutely right.
Well, it's kind of funny that you mentioned Taylor Swift a little bit ago, because I earlier was just watching this documentary that she put out, and one of the things she said, and it was like a long thing, but she said, "I just think in the end, people know the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. We all know when it's right or when we're being wrong." And it's so true. We know if we're being a jerk, and we know, like, instinctively, nobody needs to tell us those things. And so we just need to tune into that and stop ignoring it.
I think that's absolutely right. You know, there are problems and problem people in this world that have found ways to justify doing things that we all know are not right.
Right.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that most of us don't have this sense of right and wrong. And I will just say thank you to you guys for what you're doing. It's a sweet thing, and I think if we all had things this sweet to do, I think the world would be better off.
Thank you, Maurice.
Thank you,
We
man.
appreciate
Well, the same thing. I'll throw it out there because they haven't yet. When you get a chance to be up in our area, we always invite everybody. When you're up here, stay in touch.
we
would love to have you over. Offer a place to stay if you need it for a night. We love to cook for people. We got a nice
part of
home.
our thing,
where
Maurice.
we like to put people up and then get to know them even more personally in person. So you have an open invitation.
Wonderful offer. That's you'll probably hear from me
Right on.
whenever I can get it together.
You've got my number, Maurice. So just hang on to it, and I will let you know when this is coming out. It'll be 2 weeks, probably 3.
Fantastic. When it does come out, send me a link. I will pump it up on my own social media. I will, as I like to say, I will bandy it about like a drunk with a winning scratcher.
Absolutely. Right on, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maurice. You have a beautiful night, man.
All right, you guys.
Take care, brother.
Thank you.
Bandy it about like a drunk with a winning scratcher. I like
Dang.
that. I'm going to steal that.
That's
Wow.
really wrong.
That was great, man. Maurice has got a lot to say. And
Maurice is dope.
That's another one that was very, very like educational and just
Super
cool
fun.
conversation.
Mm-hmm. I love the end of these episodes where like we've done the interview, right, and stopped, and it's like 3 weeks later or whatever, and we're recording the outro, and we just try and like keep talking, pretend like we're still going.
I know. I wonder if you guys fall for it.
Did you guys
Out
fall
there.
for it just now?
Well, I love that. That reminded me. I was having a hard time composing myself and breathing at the end. There was a lot of laughter and fun had in that conversation.
About like a drunk with a winning scratcher. That's
amazing,
solid shit right there.
Yeah.
So that, everybody, is our new friend Maurice Tani, and the music is available everywhere that music is streaming.
Yes,
and I would urge you
is.
to do him a solid. If you dig it, go to Little Village and purchase yourself one of the CDs, because that music or that money, all the money from those sales go directly to the artists from
That's
Little
right.
Village. That's pretty cool, man. And
find a way to tell the artists that you love, be it musical artists or any other artists out there, that you love their stuff, that their song, their creation, everything, that it made a difference, it made an impact, you loved it, whatever.
So it's Friday right now.
Yes,
it's Friday morning, where we've just drove to work with whomever is listening. And do you like that? I had proper English.
Yes,
You
yes,
did.
you used the whom. Very
like that.
well done.
I
A
caught-
plus, sir.
Thanks everybody. So yeah, what I was gonna say is it's almost the weekend.
the freaking weekend.
I'm about to have me some fun. No,
We can't do that, babe.
what
Everybody is working.
what are you looking forward to doing this weekend, Mel?
Ooh, I haven't even thought about it. I haven't projected that far
You're
into
in
the
it.
future.
You're already in your weekend.
I am in my weekend. I actually just had a lot of, I caught up with Tiffany, which was a highlight. I have lunch tomorrow with Susan, so I'm excited
Mel's
about that.
going out with her elderly BFF.
Yep. I have banjo practice, which I love and I'm excited about every other Friday. And I'm getting a Nashville hot chicken sandwich this weekend at some point.
Yeah, you are.
So I'm excited about that.
You should see how cute she looks, man. All
She's getting
like
more
like a
excited
little
and
kid.
cute as she's doing it,
Well,
rubbing
and
her
then-
hands.
And then you got me those 501s, and I'm excited about getting that in the mail too. So
Oh, I love you, man. You're the best. You made me happy for your weekend, and I'm not even involved in any of it except for maybe the sandwich part.
Well, I had a really cute day. It's the first. Yesterday we were talking. We recently got AG1.
Yeah.
The athletic greens, and yesterday was the first day that I felt it to say that I felt amazing.
Both of us at the same time.
I realized in that moment, I was like, I feel great. I feel like before COVID ever happened, like my body and my mind, I just felt light in my spirit and good in my body. And then today was just I straightened up the kitchen a little bit, changed it around, and it feels, I feel more air in. There's been a lot of really heaviness lately. That was heavy stuff that we've had to deal with. So it feels just good to like have movement in the house and kind of in my soul.
Yeah, man.
I like when you rearrange. At first, I'm always like, what? Okay, what? Like, oh, now we're not going to trip over Darwin every time we go in. His bowl was right by the door. Like, it was like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah, it opened it up in a different way.
I got a question.
Yeah.
What are athletic greens?
Babe, do you want to take the lead on this one? So it's a green powder that's you can add into your smoothie or just plain water, and it is like your green vegetables. Go ahead.
It's more than that. So
I know I was leading into it, but then you can.
So like, you know how Mel and I were like, take a vitamin D and then vitamin C powder and magnesium.
All these different.
And this is 70 of them in this powder canister powder stuff.
Okay.
That like, I don't know.
It's a lot of green vegetables, and so it's got so much, not just that, but like vitamins, minerals,
and probiotics, and functional mushrooms for like cognition and stuff like that. It's like all of it.
And so we've been taking that first thing in the morning before, coffee, before anything, and then of course we're doing our smoothies that we've been pretty diligent with, and
with our algae in it.
Yeah, and it just feels like I feel like I'm kind of coming out of a fog.
Me too, babe. Me too.
That's what it feels like. I'm like almost like when in Oregon, there's a lot of clouds in the sky, and then all of a sudden the sky's just fucking blue, and the clouds are nowhere. And that's what it felt like yesterday. Like it felt like, oh, I didn't even know that clouds were there. I didn't even know that the sky wasn't blue. I thought it was bright because it was white outside, but no, like there was actually clouds that lifted, and at that moment I felt it, and I was like, whoa. And then I just got grateful because I was like realizing that I wasn't doing the same thing that I usually do to myself, which is like all these like hard, unexpected expectations on myself.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that. I felt like satisfied in myself. So it was like multiple level feeling good, like body, mind, spirit. From, I don't know if it's only from that. I've been doing other things too, but it made a difference
too. And like, this is like not a sponsor of the show or anything like that.
No,
we're not doing
this is
that.
Personal.
This is not what this is about. But like, somebody told us about it. I had heard about it. Like they were a sponsor of Rogan's show and stuff like that.
I've heard about it a lot.
But shit's expensive, dude. It's like $70 a month for one person to do it. You know what I mean? And
you figure all the money you spend on all these other different supplements.
Mm-hmm. That's how I justified
bad.
It to myself.
Yeah.
But so for her and I to do it was expensive, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, but I thought, fuck it, we'll try it for 1 month. If it doesn't do anything, we won't use it anymore. Like, okay, shame on me. I spent $100 and whatever.
You're both feeling the effects.
And no, like, so like the first 3 days that we took it, you remember last week when her and I were like laid up for a couple of days? We were just like laying on the couch all the time sleeping.
Yeah.
Remember I told you I had the best poop I ever had in my life? It felt like
it was like when we first started it was detoxing us. And I think.
Well, let me just say this. We've been going through a lot, and I feel like a lot of that was like energetic and emotional. Like
but it was physical too, dude.
Yeah,
like,
definitely physical.
I was
for
like
sure
wiped out for no reason. And then after about 4 or 5 days of that, like we were sitting at the table in the living room, and all of a sudden I was like, I fucking feel great today. Like I didn't have that. You know, I always joke there's that golden hour in the morning between the coffee and the shake. That hasn't been happening. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, all right, still
Feeling
going,
pretty good.
still going. So
Okay.
so far so good. Stuff's dope.
All right.
Yeah.
Good
Anyway,
answer.
what are you looking forward to this weekend, Apple?
Oh, the first thing I'm really looking forward to is joining Galaxy Jams Reacts on Sunday.
Cool.
To join them to do what they do and react to music.
Yeah, be a part of their show.
Man.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. And then we got a couple good interviews this weekend, just the show and stuff. And then also, Sunday, again, sports ball. Sunday is playoffs. My Eagles are playing. I'm looking forward to that's going to be in between. I'm going to be able to catch parts of it in between.
Cool
stuff. Yeah, because Joel wanted to hang out and get together because we're playing the 49ers, which he's a big fan of. And I was like, brother, I'd love to, but got a morning thing. I'm going to get to catch part of the game, and then we got an afternoon thing. So I'm looking forward to the Galaxy Jams Reacts, a little bit of football, and some more awesome conversations with some artists that we're going to have on.
Okay.
Sweet.
That's a solid plan.
Yeah.
And then,
and we have a date.
Well, and
Me and Apple.
Oh yeah, we have a bathroom makeover date.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Mel and I were talking.
I want some Fire on the Mountain also.
Okay. Mel and I were
well, I
talking.
mean, if you guys do it tomorrow, I'll miss out. But
Well, maybe Saturday.
Maybe we'll go on Saturday.
Saturday sounds fun.
That can be included. I want more of their foods. I haven't tried everything yet.
We were talking yesterday and like talking about going to shows, and or it was this morning actually, I think. And I was like, I obviously love going to live music, but lately I just I felt like I wanted to be home. Like I don't feel like it right now.
Yeah.
Right now, there's like Mel said, there's a lot of heavy shit that's happened lately, and I feel like I need to be home, chilling the fuck out.
Yeah,
like, you need to keep your ass inside the house. I don't watch shows, read a book, sleep,
take a bath.
Take a shower, do a hair treatment, whatever the fuck.
Like when I just came home from work and sat on the couch and I started clicking my heels together, I'm like, there's no place like home.
No shit.
There's no place like home.
Especially like when we spend time at home, especially me, I clean up. And so the house has such a different feel when people walk in. When I walk in and I've cleaned the house,
the vibe feels different.
It feels so great.
It feels like, when your car's running like shit and you don't really notice it, but then you take it and you go get a tune-up and an oil change and you get the car washed and you're driving down the freeway and it's running great.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it was running like shit before, but now I could tell it's running great. That's how the house is now. It's like, we were noticing that it was running like shit, but like
it's never gets dirty. It gets messy and just like stuff everywhere. But like just clearing literally the energetic space in the house, like put things away so you're not seeing them. So it's not taking up eyeball space and eyeball thoughts. And that gives you time to think about something else.
Yeah.
Like it's very subtle and we don't think it, but the more stuff you have to look at that's mildly annoys you or that you're putting off, it gives you bad vibes on the inside at a small pace. And then finally you're annoyed and all hot under the collar for a dumb reason.
There's a
one I like it. It's helped me start being more cleanly around here too. Keeping all the stuff picked up because we get a lot of stuff gets piled up in places. And I'm just like, why should I bother? But I started, Aaron's seen it too, started sweeping a lot more. I started, grabbing the broom, grabbing the vacuum, wet paper towel, wiping down the walls in the kitchen where it gets kind of messy by the light switches. It's nice because then we all start feeling that flow and start doing it, like picking shit up.
Yep. And it's like an engine in the house too. Like creativity starts at that point.
Because you don't have that other, again, when you have like a pristine place, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you know what I mean? Like it's just better like for your creative energy. It's better for your attitude. It's better for like everyone else in the environment.
There's a saying in the Bible and it's the little foxes spoil the vine. And that's the truth, man. That really is like, it's the little things that build up and cause those sicknesses and little things and little spots.
you ignore
and
this.
it
you
causes
ignore
you to
that.
just get compliant, like with the I cleaned my room last weekend because of the things going on. I still had like Christmas stuff, candy, stocking. My stocking was still laying on the table. My shoes were like in a pile. It's like, this is gross. Clean your room. My room's not that big, and it was getting
so
kind of weird. So yeah, we've been doing we're early. This is winter cleaning.
Yep.
It's not spring.
There's
it's
a second one.
cleaning.
Midwinter cleaning. So I am looking forward to doing absolutely nothing other than our interview this weekend. That's what I'm looking forward to talking to Tom Constantin and Bob Brailov this weekend.
We've been really wanting to do this interview for a while. And last week it was our fault. The week before something else happened. So
I mean,
we're excited.
Yeah, and now we have them both because for first it was just going to be TC first, and this is dope what they're doing.
So
what
stay tuned to No Simple Road for interview with an actual keyboard player from the Grateful Dead and sound engineer, Bob Brailov, Tom Constantin. That's Dos Hermanos.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a dude that did, being involved in helping create drums in space and all the shit that goes into that.
It's on. I can't wait for this interview, man. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to this weekend. I hope that all of you out there listening have a really amazing weekend, whatever it is that's going to happen for you. I hope it's what you want and what you need, and that you get whatever rest or not. If you don't feel like resting and you want to go out and party, go out and do it with everything you got, man.
Yeah, and don't be, you know what? I saw this one little thing. It was a mom life hack, and the thing was, if it's, she had I think 6 kids or something like that. If it's under 5 minutes, just do it now.
All right, there it is.
That's pretty good.
Words of wisdom this week. So until next time, we'll see you Monday. We'll be back with more stuff and things. Until then, smile at a stranger. Safety third. Take care of your shoes.
Yeah.
Hydrate.
And your feet.
Yeah, hydrate.
Yeah.
What was the other word? We're going to add one in this week to help you remember something. Now I can't remember what it was.
Well, just remember to change the strings on your guitar or your bass at least once a month if you're playing daily, because after a while they go dead, and it's like the frog in the pot of boiling water. You don't notice that your strings are getting dead, and then when you do change them, you're like, man, I've been playing on dead strings for a while. So if you play guitar or bass,
don't play dead strings.
Love you guys. See you next week. Peace.
But it's a burden. Felony just been deferred, and hell means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. Mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.